The hardest part of starting an agency isn't funnels. It isn't automations. It's actually getting leads. Because without leads, there's no pipeline. Without pipeline, there's no sales. And without any sales, guess what? You have no business. So in this video, we're going to focus on how to fix that problem. We're going to break down some digital tools. We're going to talk about some organic networking strategies and even some old school prospecting methods that often get overlooked. We're also going to cover how to use High Levels prospecting tool, AI features, and even the new self-audit widget to give yourself a real edge. So just a note, I'm a proud High Level affiliate. I make my commission if you choose to sign up using my links. Now, your results may vary, so no promises and no income guarantees. But the reality is that the tools we cover work only if you put in the work. So let's get started. In $100 million leads, there's a simple idea. If you're under $1 million in revenue, your biggest problem isn't your product, it's obscurity. You see, nobody knows you exist, and that's why new agency owners often burn out at the beginning. You see, they may spend months building, tweaking landing pages, creating their logos and automations, trying to feel productive, but they end up just being invisible. So you have to get out there, and prospecting is that process. It's the cure for obscurity because you have to get leads coming in. Otherwise, all those tools and all that time you're spending building out pipelines, it's not going to be as valuable. You're not going to be able to refine them, and you're not going to be able to really take advantage of how to handle scale when you have no scale. You need stuff coming in for you to manage and audit and refine. So that's why the focus is to make sure that if you're a new agency owner, that you're trying to talk to new people every day. Build the pipeline first, then optimize later. So like I mentioned, most people waste hours scraping Google, copying numbers, and building spreadsheets. The high-level prospecting tool helps to eliminate the majority of that. Here's how. You see, in the prospecting tool, you can search businesses by a niche or by location. Then you can run a quick audit to see what that business's gaps are pretty instantly. You can then collect verified contact details and even try to reach out to them. Now, instead of cold outreach, that sounds desperate, you can now approach with some sort of authority. Now, you don't want to go up to them and say, hey, do you need marketing services? Instead, you say, hey, I noticed you don't have any recent reviews, and here's what that's costing you. And then you show them a printed version of the marketing audit report, especially if they're an in-person business. You know, that shift really from generic to specific problems flips the conversation. All right, so let's go ahead and let's walk through what the prospecting tool in Go High Level actually looks like. So I'm going to switch over to my demo page here. So here's the prospecting tool. The prospecting tool is a really cool tool that High Level is included for all agency owners. There is a premium version. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But if you look, it gives you even AI generated prospects where you can configure this. You can configure the location and the niche that you're looking for, and it'll actually go through and it'll recommend clients towards you or potential clients that you can go after. What it does is it finds that niche, gives you the address, and then from here you can even view the report. And so this marketing audit report is crucial because it allows you to be able to see what problems that client really could be having. And so when you think of the conversation then, you're not just saying, hey, yeah, do you do stuff, or have you thought about how you handle reviews? Instead, you're having the conversation of, look, I noticed that you're, from a review standpoint, your reputation, you have some negative reviews. How are you planning to address those, right? Or, I've noticed that, it takes you a little bit before you're able to actually respond to the reviews that you have. Is that something that you'd like help with? Right? So the idea here is now you have information that arms you to have a more intelligent conversation with that potential client of yours. And, when you start with the problem and you have a natural conversation about it, then you're able to then pivot and say, you know what, I have a solution for you. If that's something that you want to take off your hands, I can even automate it for you using AI, for example, right? So this is one example. Now, when we're talking about prospecting, one of the beautiful parts about this is, yes, you can send this electronically, right? So if you're having a conversation with someone over the phone, you can say, hey, let me get your email. Let me email you your marketing, a free market audit report. That will get them into their email. Otherwise, if you're perhaps prospecting, physically, like for example, I had a dent in my door that I had to get repaired. So I scoured the internet and I found my nearest dent repair guy. And out of curiosity, I ran a marketing audit report and I found some issues along the way. What I did is I exported the PDF, I printed it out, and when I went to go talk to him, because he was going to fix my door, after he fixed the service, I commended him on how great it looked, and I handed him a copy of the free marketing report and started having just a natural conversation with him, saying, hey, look, I noticed this about your business because I had issues finding you, or I noticed there was some negative reviews, but I wanted to check out for myself. How are you addressing these, right? That starts a natural conversation. And so that's the goal with having and that's the advantage of having the data already in front of you and knowing something about that business. So this is just one example. This is available to all agency owners. I believe the prospecting tool by default allows like five free audits a month. Now, if you pay $29 a month for the premium, that enables a whole lot more features, including the AI components, where you can actually go through and actually have it select, search out some niches for you. You specify your location, what type of report you want, and then it will, on a weekly basis, find and recommend accounts that you can go after. And when it finds accounts, you'll see AI. These are ones that were, manual, but you can see like it'll start recommending, and then you can take that and start having conversations, reach out to them, call them, and have a conversation. So that's great. This is the Go High Levels prospecting tool. I'll show you what it looks like when you add it to a sub account here shortly, but this is a really cool tool that I highly recommend that you take advantage of. So with that being said, let's start talking a little bit about AI's capabilities and Go High Level. So High Levels AI now really speeds up what most agency owners hate, and that's writing first contact messages. As you start looking at what it can do, it can help you draft outreach emails based off these audit results. It can help you summarize insights into simple prospect-facing talking points. And even it can add personalization, right? You can add nurturing at that point, for additional touch points. So all that's built in to High Levels platform if you enable those features. For example, if we were to audit a dental office, what AI would generate is maybe a note saying, hey, I noticed you don't have many recent Google reviews. Patients often choose dentists based on trust. This might be costing you new bookings. Want me to show you how to fix that? You see, that's a very simple, short, problem-focused statement that allows you to start a conversation with a potential prospect and customer, from that perspective. Now, when you're doing this together, you wanted to make sure that it's focused, clear, and short, right? Now, this doesn't guarantee clients. In the book $100 Million Leads, it reminds us that acquisition costs come first. But what it does remove is it removes the excuse of not knowing what to say and starting that conversation. Because when you're an agency owner, you have to be able to have that conversation. Now, whether you're having that conversation verbally, an email, through text, through WhatsApp messages, however you want to do it, you're going to have to be able to focus in the conversation and be able to attract your leads. Now let's flip the script here. Now, instead of chasing leads, you can have the option of having them qualify themselves. And so this is a huge advantage when you're talking to agency owners, because then from that perspective, what you have is you allow your potential customers to start prospecting themselves. And this is a game changer for a lot of folks. When you're an agency owner, maybe you set up the SaaSpreneur site. On that site, there's a free marketing audit page that people can request, and they fill out a form. Basically, you get a copy of their responses, and then you manually create that request yourself. Well, with this new capability, when people fill out that form, they would get a generated audit report themselves, and that's powerful. So I'm going to walk through how to do that here in high level in a minute. But when you start thinking about what that means you can create like a QR code or put that URL to that free marketing audit on a flyer or in an email and send it to people. Then when they click on it or they scan that QR code, they'll be able to go to your site, fill out the information, get their own marketing report right away. And then, oh, by the way, while they're on that page, they can sign up for your solution on how to address their concerns. Or they can book a call to have a follow-up conversation. What's nice is as they fill out the widget and fill out that form, who has done that, because you got an email saying, hey, so-and-so has filled out this and requested a free marketing report. And they already have the results. So your next step is just simply call them. And it's not a cold call because they've already gone to your site and gotten information. So now you're having a more intelligent conversation because they already have the report in front of them. And you're just talking through some of the problems and challenges that they may have. That's real power with these type of tools. So high-level self-auditing widgets really allows you to place a free audit generator on your website anywhere. I suggest if you're an agency owner, put it on your free marketing audit page. We'll walk through that here in a minute. And really that allows you to be able to be authoritative when you're having conversation. And that's not really a gimmick. That's an audit that serves as a lead magnet. And what's nice about it is you're providing real value up front because you're able to provide them with the problems and show them the problems that they may or may not realize that they're facing as part of their business. Now, even better, when you're doing this, you realize that the client is self-qualifying and you're providing them with automation and a solution to their problem. So let's walk through the prospecting tool. So here is under marketing. We're going to go under prospecting in our high level. Now, this is in a different place. Now, when I first showed the demo, it was at the agency level. When you set up the premium, it's recommended to associate this to a sub account. So if you're an agency owner, more than likely you have your primary sub account. I recommend associating it to it. Then there's a couple advantages to it. Every instance of the prospecting tool for the AI allows you to view 3 niches. By associating to a sub account, you can get an additional 3 niches just based off where it's at. So here, whereas before I was like barbershops and cleaning company, here under AI, I see a dent removal service, a plumber, and windows cleaning service. So I have 3 other niches that I'm getting recommendations for, right? So here I see the Falls Windows Cleaning Company. Again, the same type of thing. I can view the report, be able to see, what's the likelihood about this business. and then take action based off this report. So this is leads coming to you, right? Now when it comes to widgets, let's talk about that, right? So if I go to my website, right, studio.experthats.com. On my website today, this should look familiar. This is the SaaSpreneur based site. There's a free audit link on here, and people can claim your free marketing audit. Now, this is a standard form. It doesn't really do anything aside from collect information, right? And the idea here was simple. They fill out the form. You get the form. You run your prospecting tool against that business. You export the PDF or copy the link, and then you email them a copy of the reports. All right, pretty straightforward. But if you think of it from the customer standpoint, they now have to wait, right? And the reality is that speed kills deals. So because of that, we want to make sure we get ahead of this as quickly as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this particular feature of this free audit, and we're going to AI power it with some real power. All right. And by doing so, what we're going to do is we're going to go and create a new widget. Now, before I do that, let me show you a couple other features. When people are running their audit reports, there's a specific look and feel to this report, especially when they're running it. And so this is where you have the chance to be able to customize and tailor the look and feel of this. So, you want to go under Report Builder, and you can apply your brand themes, your colors. You can make sure all the verbiage looks correct. There's a header section, an introduction section, and a footer section. You can just go through and configure each of these, and then be able to even preview what this looks like. And this is what it would look like from the vantage view of the customer or the potential prospect that's running their own report. All right. So, you have a header section, the contact now. You want to go ahead and try to configure as much of this as possible, and the look and feel. And so you can do that right here. From there, once you have all this kind of built out, then at that point, make sure you save your settings, go back to configure your settings, choose everything is what I do. If you're looking for specific services, so like maybe you don't do Google reviews and whatnot, you can pull that stuff out as part of the report options. So that's just something that you can choose to deselect if you don't want that as part of the report. I suggest when you're starting, just choose it all. From that standpoint, we'll go to now our next step of adding a new widget to our website, right? So people can self-register. So we're going to create a new widget. Here we're going to choose a couple of things. First name, last name. We still want to collect as much information. They'll be able to search their own business or manually enter their business. From here, you can choose a few options. The one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to choose, because I have a brand color. Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose a different theme. I'm going to choose a dark theme for myself. And here we're going to go ahead and rename this to self-audit widget, right? I'm going to click save. All right, so this is already much better. So I'm going to click back, and now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the embed code. This allows me to then take this particular widget, put it on any website that I have. Okay, so I'm going to go to my sites and my websites, and I have my Expert Hats Studio site here. I'm going to go on to my free audit. Now you can do a couple things here. You can update the pop-up where that form is, or you can choose to put it right on this site to reduce clicking. Your choice. Okay. For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that pop-up because I want to get rid of this form. So I'm going to choose this. I'm going to delete it. Now what I want to do next is I want to hit the plus sign, and I want to choose here. I want to choose code. I'm going to add code to it for this custom, I'm going to select the editor, and I'm simply going to paste the code for that form. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And at this point, I'm going to publish it. Now, although you don't quite see it here, there's a huge change that just happened on this page. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my page. I'm going to close this. I'm going to refresh the page. I usually refresh at least a couple times. And then when I click on claim your free audit below, now what ends up happening is when they fill this out, they're going to get a live search of their business. So let me go ahead and put in my business here. All right. Now I know I'm not fully set up, so that this is a good example of what you'll see. Putting your email and your website. All right, from there we click submit, and what's going to end up happening, oh, let me put expert hats. Okay, if it's not finding it, they can manually enter their information. All right. And then they can submit. And then now what you're going to see that's different is you're going to see the report is generating. Please wait, right? And so if this isn't a pop-up, I think, maybe it may not make sense to leave it in a pop-up. It's up to you. I may choose to move this onto the main page. That way it's right on the page. It's live. It gives a chance for this report to run. And then once the report's run, you can click view report, and then they'll be able to actually see their own marketing audit report. So we'll let this run here, and I'll speed up the video as this comes up. All right, now as you can see, the report's ready. So we're going ahead and click on the report. And at that point, it takes them live to their report itself. So they could be able to see the overall score, the business details, the technical stack, any particular business profile issues, the listings, et cetera, online reputations, all of that. So they'll be able to see that as part of their business score. And this is now information that they get live. Now, what's great about this is when they run that, you'll get notifications in their email. You can create a workflow that gives you a trigger to be able to see a text message even that they've run the information. And then what you can do is you can go to your prospecting tool. So let's go back to our prospecting tool and be able to see who has run a prospecting report from using the widget. So you'll see that there's a tag for widget, and you can filter on the source as well, right? So prospecting widget, apply, or you can see, different, AI. So you'll be able to see that intentionally. So you'll be able to see that as they fill it out. So this is a great tool, great opportunity, and just something to be aware of for yourself to make sure that you're able to have the information that you need to have a conversation, because that's really the goal, a conversation. So how do you have a conversation when it comes to, networking, and maybe you going to networking events or so forth? Well, let's start getting into that conversation right now. Now, your warm network is your fastest place for your first client, people right? Now, it only works if your pitch is clear. In $100 million offers, Alex Hormozi gave this particular advice. He said that it's important for you to be able to describe what you do in a way that makes people say, I'd feel dumb saying no. Now, when you combine that with like NAPQ type of strategies, then it makes sense from a psychology standpoint. The idea is there to engage your potential prospect, your friends, your family members, your buddies, their referrals, and be able to have that conversation about like, hey, look, this is what I do, right? Now, how do you do this? Well, there's just a simple framework where you think about your 2-minute pitch. You want to state like a problem, then a solution, and then you want to ask a question about curiosity, if that's more curious. For example, maybe your problem starts, hey, you know how most small business owners struggle to get consistent leads online? That's your problem statement. The solution is I set up a system that captures, nurtures, and books clients automatically, right? Now, you could end there, but that's when it starts feeling salesy. Instead, you want to follow up with a question that might be more of a curious tone. And you can ask that by saying, do you know anyone who might need something like that? You see, by asking the question that way, you're not asking them if they need it. You're asking them, hey, do you know someone else that could need this solution? Now they may hear that and they may think, well, I need that, right? And now you're putting them in a good position to be able to say, well, yeah, I know someone, I need that. Okay, well, let's have a natural conversation, right? So, that's now no longer a hard sell and it's not a ramble, it's just planting seeds. So, this is what you can do when you're preparing your 2-minute pitch. This is important when you're talking to your friends, family, their friends, right? The people they're referring to, but also when you're going to networking events for businesses. And I highly recommend this. Check out your local chamber of commerce, find local networking events and even casual meetups. By preparing this 2-minute pitch, it allows you to be clear. And as such, you'll get a better response from people. So again, just to repeat, having that conversation, that 2-minute pitch, you know how most small business owners struggle to get consistent leads online? Well, what I do is I set up a system that captures, nurtures, and books clients automatically. Do you know anyone who might need something like that? See, how does that sound? Does it feel like I'm selling something to you? Does it feel forceful? The goal is for it to flow naturally. Now, obviously, you'll want to practice this, but having a 2-minute pitch is going to be key for you overall. Okay. Now, don't ignore traditional methods just because they feel old school. All right. Now, what do I mean by traditional methods? I mean walking into a business with the audit in hand and handing it to them, or printing flyers with a generated QR code, which you can do in high level, to your audit widget, right? So they can scan the QR code, immediately go to your website, fill it out, and get an audit report. That's awesome. And if you configured the report correctly and all the headers, not only will they see the report, they'll be able to click contact us and be able to send you a message or call you right from that same screen. Heck, don't even overlook maybe even sending postcards with the headline, get a free marketing audit in like 60 seconds. This is key. And now when you think of these methods, these are low cost methods. Postcard stamps are cheaper than a flyer stamp, like if you're putting in a letter. So, think about that. Direct mail is still an underpriced way to get attention. Face-to-face still closes faster than email. So the idea here is to do the dirty work at times. And this is important because $100 million leads, this is something that, although it's identified as not truly being scalable, when you're starting your business, it's the fastest way to cash flow initially. And so this is important for you, new agency owners, to kind of hit the ground, find ways to get your marketing report and your information out to potential prospects and help them understand what problems they have, and more importantly, that you have a solution for them, right? So that's something for you to consider and to address. Now, here's the real lever. Make prospecting a habit. How do you do this? Well, try a block 2 hours a day. Get the prospecting tool, build a list. From there, use AI, draft your first outreach messages, try to get those out. Draft up flyers, get postcards, print them out, get stamps from your local post office, put those together and stick them in the mail. All these things will help you. In addition, get your widget up, right? So you can capture the inbound calls or the inbound interest from that. You'll be able to see that in your prospecting tool. From there, work on your organic pitch. The goal is to plant seeds, right? That 2-minute idea, maybe it's something that they don't need to solve, but they might know someone who might be interested in that solution. So you want to plant seeds, right? Referrals are great, especially as people get to know you. And then the traditional knock on doors if needed, right? Walk into businesses and try your 2-minute pitch just to do that. In advance, if you can bring up if you can print out a marketing audit report like I did with the dent puller, that helps to have a real conversation. Again, it's no magic formula for getting leads in. It's just consistency. And in the $100 million leads, there's a simple reminder. Volume cures all problems. So talk to 100 businesses, you're going to close clients. Talk to 3, you'll think the model doesn't work. So the idea here is to build a daily habit, get consistent, and take action. Now, as a new agency, I understand. The biggest killer of new agencies isn't rejection, it's paralysis. People wait for the perfect niche, the perfect offer, the perfect branding, the perfect website. But clarity comes from action. Trust me, if something's unclear, your prospects will tell you, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing and you're taking action. As a matter of fact, in $100 million leads, if you don't get clarity by thinking, you get clarity by doing. Your first 5 clients will shape your agency more than 500 hours of planning and reading. So stop waiting, prospect, reach out, and learn in the field. So let's wrap this up. The prospecting tool overall is going to give you targeting tools and instant audits. The high levels AI helps to remove friction by writing the first drafts of messaging, emails, anything else that you need. The self-audit widget prospects qualify themselves, and you'll be able to see that and be able to reach out to them or give them the opportunity to reach out to you. From there, organic networking plus your 2-minute pitch is important, so you can leverage your existing circle or go out to your local meetups and be able to have a conversation with people. Then don't overlook traditional outreach, such as creating flyers, door knocking, as well as direct mail. Those still work. Make it a daily habit of consistent prospecting, because 2 hours of consistent prospecting beats 10 hours of tweaking funnels. So your pipeline tomorrow depends on what you do today. Don't wait for perfect. Start prospecting now, right? Get your first clients. Now, if you want to learn more about how to do this and more, I recommend checking out the links in the description. What you're going to find is a new community called GHL Money Labs, where we break down and apply key proven frameworks from the $100 million series by Alex Hormozi to small high-level agency businesses and their customers. So check the link in the description below to find out more. Now, if you choose to sign up for High Level using one of my affiliate links, you'll be able to start your free trial of High Level, as well as get a initial boot camp to help you set everything up. Now, with that being said, no guarantees. You get results by putting in the work. Again, check out those links in the description below to find out more. So what are you struggling with when it comes to leads and prospecting? Have you already started? Let me know in the comments below, and let's have a conversation about it. So with that, thank you very much.